Welcome to the Old-Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons, while drinking an old-fashioned. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button now. Platforms other than YouTube tend to block some of our content. Subscribe now to get up-to-date videos and shorts as they release. Now, enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Old-Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasonry while drinking an old-fashioned. I'm Brian.
And I'm Russ.
And I'm Bob Talbott.
All right, so we get, you as viewers, not only do you send comments, we get a lot of DMs. So a lot of you guys have slid into our DMs. That's a young person term. So we get stuff on our email, but we've got a variety of questions, and we thought, you know what, we've got enough of them. It's time to do a Q&A session. So Bob's going to be queued up, and he's going to ask us some of these questions. Now, there's a lot of them that were so inappropriate. Now, I've giggled at them, but they're never going to make these. They're enough for us to talk offline about. And
so are they inappropriate because friends are just saying funny things? Or
there's just some
hateful people out there.
We have, and thank you for your followers, because there's probably double digits of you that are following because you hate us. You hate Masons. You think that we're some weird thing, and maybe just me particular. Your haters are your biggest fans. So, but we have some people that are just kind of nasty about Masonry, and that was one of the reasons to do the podcast. Like, we're just about as normal as anyone else. I mean, if you hate us on some merit. Not just because we're part of an organization that you think that you don't understand, and you're just talking out of your rear end.
Exactly.
About. So we're going to turn this over, and
I'm the Q. You're the A's.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Q's and A's. So here we go, and so fire off, my friend, and we'll be ready.
Okay. This is for both of you. Okay, right? We hear you poke fun at attorneys, and we all know quite a few, right? But what do you do? What are your professions? What do you each do? Brian?
I'm in the commercial real estate world.
I'm in an agricultural banker.
So there we go.
That seemed pretty light.
Have you heard the, do you know what you call a bus full of attorneys driving off a cliff?
What do you call a bus full of attorneys driving off a cliff? I don't know.
A good start.
No, my favorite joke of attorneys is, do you know what you call the guy who graduated at the bottom of his class in law school? Attorney.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Okay, both of you, outside of the podcast, do you both banter with each other in real life, and to what degree compared to what you do here on camera? So
we get asked this often.
Good.
Fair?
Yeah, so I think we banter even more off.
Yes, because we have to adjust our vernacular a little bit when we're on camera.
Sanitize a lot.
We do. But hold on. Somebody tends to be throwing shade here a little bit on us. I believe that the man in the center is also part of this bantering at times, too.
As usual, I'm stuck in the middle with these guys. Victimized might be the word. I don't know.
Violated.
Hey, wait. Hold on.
Ooh, easy.
You'll see that in the next episode.
Oh, I just can't wait. Okay. So that was a hard yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Ooh, good one. How often do you attend lodge and or shrine meetings?
Wow.
Russ?
I would say this year I have attended lodge at least once a month.
I might have been in lodge 3 times this year.
Okay.
But shrine, I don't go to shrine meetings unless there's something that requires like something big with a vote, or there's been a lot of stuff going on with the building and stuff. That is, it's not the same for me. But the master this year at Pike, he was just doing a lot that is drawing people back in, which is he's doing his job.
Yeah.
So
for shrine meetings for me, I don't go very often.
Yeah, and the shorter answer is never enough.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
And I think for many of the viewers that know, for the ones that don't, outside of lodge, you both are very involved, not just this,
Yeah.
boards, committees,
Yeah.
I know that. So
Yeah,
that may be
yeah.
coming up later,
Sure.
but a lot of other involvement besides stated meetings, right?
Sure, fair.
What prompted you to do this podcast?
We've talked about this before. We used to do a little promo piece that Pike member profile. And we had several people and even some former grandmasters that said, hey, that thing could probably be expanded into more. Now, we were never going to I never thought about expanding it to a podcast, but I took it as, we could talk to more members. Then it just kind of graduated into, you know what? Why does this have to just be here?
Right.
Why can't we shed a positive light on Masonry? And we talk a lot of real stuff.
Yeah.
We're not always pro,
Right.
We talk about our problems.
And it was very much in the beginning about getting the longtime Masons of Outer Pike, getting them introduced to some of the newer members because they don't always mix together. And
Right.
sometimes it's something as simple as, hey, those guys are hanging out over there. We're not mixing, and it's a good way for new members and even old members to really learn about members of our lodge, and then it sort of progressed from there.
Well, and how many times are we sitting next to somebody and we're like, we had no idea. We didn't know that. And we know these guys. So it hasn't really been work yet. But it's fun. I think Russ and I have made the comment that the minute it's not fun for us,
right,
we're done. We're just going to hang up the spurs or pass it on to somebody else.
Right. Well, as an outside viewer, I'm delighted to see the evolution of this. It started with videos, and you had kind of an agenda, almost like an editorial calendar, if you will.
Right.
I love the recent kind of spin-off to FAQs, Did You Knows, the bites, small bites during the week. So just applaud you both for doing it. I'm sure there's a life cycle. I'm glad we're not there at the end of it. Good, it's great stuff.
Sure,
Good
fair.
stuff,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Have you caught any grief from, you kind of touched on this, have you caught any grief from Masons about doing this podcast?
Not one. Only positive.
Yeah.
Only positive. Not one set of grief for doing this.
Okay.
We're good. There'll be content that'll come out. We've got hundreds of episodes banked. There'll be content that'll come out and people will be a little annoyed about it. But we do touch on some controversial subjects like, I don't know if everyone should be hearing about it. Why? It's real talk.
Right.
So
Excellent.
yeah.
Very good. Where do you film your podcast? And I think it's been a couple of places. You've moved a little bit, right?
We filmed in 3 different places.
Yeah.
We started at Russ's home for the first 3 episodes. Yeah. Then we moved to a conference room in East Wichita that we shot probably 10 or 15. Mm-hmm. And then I had some space in my home and converted it in. So we shoot it out of my home in Wichita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, okay. So this is one I've pondered for a long time, right? Very reflective, contemplative studies here. Should pineapples be on pizza?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know that they need to be on pizza, but they sure can if you'd like for them to be, Bob.
Now, when I recently brought
Like
some
Hawaiian
pizzas
pizza?
over
Yeah.
to spend time with you and your lady, me and my lady, what did you tell me?
I believe that you asked, hey, give me an idea of which kind of pizza you'd like. And I said, we like, all types of meat pizzas, all, supreme pizzas. Yeah, but
No
don't bring
Hawaiian?
anything with pineapple on it.
Oh, you said that.
And then
But-
but we both like
We both like
pineapple.
pineapple.
Yeah,
There
but
you
we
go.
both like pineapple.
Yeah.
All right.
Pineapple, no?
No, yes.
No, yes.
A Hawaiian pizza. Absolutely.
Okay.
It was more to just give Bob crap.
See, and again, anybody who follows us, this is like Russ's MO. He will take a stance on something he doesn't care about, doesn't believe in, and he'll drive it home, and then you just want to punch him in the mouth.
Yep.
Fair?
Very fair. Very fair.
But I still
Understated.
I still have all my teeth.
He does. He
Oh,
does.
there
He
you go,
does.
right.
Thank God we're all brothers.
And we did not have pineapple pizza the other night.
We did not.
What skill do you have that people would be surprised to know about?
I'm a pretty good shooter.
Firearms?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Long gun? Handgun? What?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Pretty happy about that.
I think this was something that we talked about on a podcast that Brian found out that I actually am a
Here we
fairly
go.
good shot.
Here
basketball.
we go. I knew it was coming. I
didn't know basketball.
Horse.
I had the horse.
You know what, guys? I'm going to tell you. All I need you to do is put in the comments and say yes on this. But Russ and I, we will video a game of horse. If you get enough of us, and I'm going to give him a beat down this time. Because he beat me fair and square. So let us know if you'd like to see that, because I'm done with this.
Now, there's some urban legend that you kind of kicked somebody's butt on the billiards. Another Mason at billiards one night.
I schooled a young man one night.
Yeah.
You had a pool table in your house.
Yeah.
I did not have a pool.
You never had a pool table in your house?
Never.
Oh, I don't know
but
the
this
story.
young man took me out for a couple games, and he was completely impressed that I just schooled him.
Got his popcorn. There you go.
You know, you surprised me. Yeah.
Okay, you have both leaked out on the podcast, but which one of you curse the most? Wait a minute, leaked out? Okay, leaked out. You want like one incident, is what I read it. That's not it. Which one of you cursed the most?
Well, so I think I do.
I think it's me, but so if you were to say off camera, who curses the most?
I'm probably around you, just edge a little more than Brian, but it's a close call. I don't know. Close call.
We do. I want to do better, but yeah, I don't
maybe
do
volume or quantity, but variety. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
Yeah, I
There's
don't know.
one word I just love.
Is it F word?
Yeah.
Is that your word?
And it just comes out.
Yeah, I kind of like
And
that.
I try to do better, and then it just.
But isn't that the F word? The F word. Isn't that such an honest word though? When that comes out, there's a lot of honesty in that word.
Yes.
Okay, we're burying our souls.
There we go.
With the F word. Both of you have daughters. What is the best story you have when someone came over to date your daughter?
Oh, I got a great one.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you do. You just go right on ahead.
Yeah, two daughters, right?
Yes. So my daughters will confirm this, and anybody that knows me, I have always ran background checks on their parents. I wanted to know what was going on. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
100%. And anybody they know this is not BS. And so one young man, in fact, I know he follows this podcast because, well, I'm just not going to give too much away. He came over. My daughter was 16. He was 15. Great kid. He came over, and I'd done all the background, and I said, and I'm just going to call him Steve. I said, Steve, tell me about your mom and your sister. So he says, oh, great people. I said, you love them? I love them. I said, there's no way that you can love your mom more than I love my daughter. Okay. I said, so here's the deal. Whatever you do to my daughter that I don't approve of, I'm going to do to your mom, so tell her to start working out. He lost his mind. So we are still friends with his mom to this day. But that is a true story. And I will tell you, my daughter was expecting nonsense. Her jaw unhinged. So
nice.
So nothing to that extent. So I will leave it at that because
you didn't flex on any boys.
Oh, I would tease them up a little bit, but nothing.
Do you ever flex on anybody?
You know, it totally was an incident. Truth's daughter, right? She still doesn't believe me to this day. I'm a Second Amendment guy. Out shoot guns with the brothers, and literally, I just happened to have a bunch of dirty guns when he was coming over one day, and you can't leave them dirty. Your fingerprints are going to rust. So it was a nice discussion. What are your intentions over, cleaning the guns? So, pretty cliche, but
it's effective. It's effective.
There you go. All right. Last chance.
I'm good.
Okay, you're good. All right. Okay. What is the best piece of Masonic advice that you've received? And I might tag on a who, if you can disclose that, if you remember that.
Mine was by Roger Snellen, and I didn't pay heed as much early on as I do now. Roger Snellen, the best piece of Masonic advice he gave me was learn to say no, not. And not like no to everything. Basically, you have a bandwidth, and I use that advice now more than I've ever used it. So learn to say no was...
When I would have been an officer at Albert Pike, several past masters would have told me this, and the one that I remember it being was Alan Hale, that said basically, when you're sitting in the East, you are in charge and lead your lodge. And
Yeah.
So fundamental. Right?
How about you?
Yeah. Several like you guys. The one that comes to mind, I was in a car with Jerry Cole heading to Western Kansas. We were doing the Trader Masonic play. And again, it was one of those moments, it will bring probably very little shock to anybody else, but it was a moment, pivotal moment, where I was telling about what I learned. I was still a fairly young Mason, and he says, well, it's great. You found your place. You're very active there. Master of the Lodge was running up to Master Pike. She's like, I'm glad you found your Masonry. And boom, moved to the next topic. That your Masonry thing several times in my career kept popping up. It's mine. First of all, I own it. I have to make it. Yeah. But also, you get to have yours. And yours is different. And they're all different.
It's all of our experiences.
It is experience, right? So, yeah, just one of those things. It didn't register at the time at all, but it keeps circling back.
I've never heard you say that's good. That's
very cool.
Yeah. Because I think we've had discussions recently of some just talking about other Masons that are, on the radar and they're doing things and whatnot. And we don't know that we ever do that, but that's their Masonry.
It's when you said that, I'm sitting here, it's like, wait a minute,
there's a lot into that, right?
That's a pretty deep, short statement.
Starts getting contemplated, doesn't it? Right? Scary stuff. Any that you gave, this wasn't on the script, guys, but what's the best Masonic advice, or one that comes to mind? You found someone and the moment was there and you dropped some advice to someone off script.
Mine's usually mostly to the newer past masters when they come and want to seek advice, like we're going to run the show it's kind of the same thing Sheldon gave me was, this is your lodge, remember the forefathers of Pike, but do it your way and still respect the culture of the lodge. So, basically just do it your way, but just still respect what was laid out ahead of you.
I think mine, and it's happened several times, but it's, you may think that the person just ahead of you or a couple seats ahead of you may not just be the best, but yet it's your responsibility as a lodge officer to make sure that you support them in each and every endeavor and make them better. You can make them better from leading, from in front or behind, but make sure that you support them as they go up, because once an officer gets into those soft chairs of a Masonic lodge, there really isn't too many reasons why they shouldn't be master of that lodge, and so you have to support them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot. When the master of a lodge looks good, by the time they're master, they're the spokespeople. Yeah. They're lodge officers. And, I can think of people too, just because they don't lead your way, I always thought, well, if they're not boisterous and dynamic and what is going on, well, they can't all be that way. Yeah. And we've seen it over the years, especially at our lodge, some folks that we like, I don't know, they did a great job.
Absolutely.
Because they had the right people behind them and leading them from behind, to your point. So,
Excellent. Okay, both of you again, right? If you could grab a drink with anyone in the world that you've never had a drink with before, right? Dead or alive, who would it be?
That I've never had a drink with before. That's a little different spin because it's the dead. Oh, wow.
For me, it would be Winston Churchill.
I knew that would be yours. That's a good one.
Was expecting World War II era, but maybe not him. Excellent.
Yeah. Nice. I would.
Don't check it. You're filtering already.
Yes, I am.
Okay, right. Come on.
I always heard a lot of cool things about my grandfather. I was 10 when he died. Mm-hmm. And maybe him, because I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him. Mm-hmm. And I think he was secretly a Mason. I really do. I'll have to find out. I really think he was. Because there's some stuff that I found over the years, and I was kind of looking back, and I just wonder if he was, and nobody really knew.
Wow.
I mean, we have resources. I guess I could go to the
Well,
Grand Lodge of
absolutely.
Oklahoma. and
There
figure
you
that
go.
out.
You look up every poor little boy that ever dated your daughter, so surely you can find.
I'm glad you I'm glad you finished with those few words after that, because looking up poor little boy, if you didn't go after that, we had real problems. So thank you for words matter.
Okay,
Yes.
Holy
excellent.
So don't edit them out.
No, we don't edit here. Thank goodness.
Yeah, if there's a gap or skip, you know
yeah,
what
it's your
happened.
fault,
Right?
so.
Okay, funny. All right. What guest of your podcast has surprised you the most so far?
Will ours be the same? Mine's easy.
Well, and we talked about.
Mine's
Have you got yours? I don't want to project or come to you.
Mike Kelly.
Michael J. Kelly for me too.
Is that right?
And here's why.
Yeah.
So when I think of before all of this, when you think of Michael J. Kelly, I thought of him as a shrine guy. He was shrine, but this guy, not only did he throw me off, he's probably still known as a shrine guy, but his knowledge of Blue Lodge and then his stances on all the way classes, short form stuff.
And just masonry in general. His
It
stances.
threw me off so much. So he surprised me the most, because I had a totally different and we see Mike.
Yeah.
We don't just see Mike once a year. So he threw me off for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
You?
The exact same. I just didn't, and unfortunately sometimes you don't, you see them in certain lights.
You pedestal them.
But it's also a different
But yet it's a different
circle
circle at times.
There you go.
But I remember something he would have been, when I was master, he would have been over at the shrine, not the secretary.
He was recorder.
And there was an issue that came up, and he took a very Blue Lodge stance on that issue, and that was years ago. And so I don't know why I was so surprised, but yeah, he surprised me,
And
pleasantly surprised.
he's cool.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
cool. He's got one-liners that we can't always repeat, but he is just clever.
Yes.
He's a clever guy. One of my favorites.
Excellent. Very good. Very good.
And I think that is the end of our deck. Listen, there were hundreds of questions, so I know I'm going to get emails. Like, why did you ask this? Well, because it was inappropriate, But thanks for watching. We're almost to the end here of season 1, and we've got a lot banked. We've got stuff banked into May of 2024 already.
Nice.
Lots of little things.
Enjoying it, and thank you. You're doing most of the heavy lifting on this, and it's just
it's
he
interesting.
bought a house just to build this studio.
Has to have a studio.
If only I could make this a legit deduction, it would have been genius.
Fantastic.
So,
Hey, I'm going to thank you both on behalf of the listeners who aren't having other agendas, looking for what you're doing and calling you out. What a service you're doing. I love that the other podcasts, everybody lifts each other. You mentioned a couple of historical lives. There's others out there, readers all over the place. Even the questions that may not seem to be positive, they drive positive discussions. Thank you both for your service.
we appreciate it. Yeah, we're all brothers, and we want to support each other. And
Love you guys.
Thanks, love you. Appreciate it.
back.
Thanks for following the
Cheers.
Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast. What did you think of this episode? To continue to promote Freemasonry, hit that like button now. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give us a comment. The Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where real Masons talk Freemasonry. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a comment.